Hi everybody. We're doing our Monday Start Strong Diamonds to SC call, which is super exciting because this is pretty much the official one since I've got back from holiday. So I'm super pumped for you guys. I was just saying we've got an array of beautiful faces on at the moment. So we've got some of you who are just starting, some of you who are DBF, SDBF, SC, and some SSCs on. So what I'd really like to do is meet your needs. So if there's a certain area in your business right now where you're feeling overwhelmed, maybe lost, maybe you need some direction, or there's something that you're finding challenging or something that you don't understand, can we pop them inside the chat box, or even just an area of training that you'd like me to cover? If there's something that you've seen or something that you would like to go over, so then that way I know that we're going to be meeting you guys where you're at. Otherwise, I just endlessly talk, and that's not really what we're after. So, no, keeping team inspired. Oh, that's a fun one. Great, Mel. I'll write that one down. Cool. Now that's going to branch onto leadership too, Mel. So I won't cover that too deep, but I want to just at least touch on that as a spectrum, because every single person on here is either a team leader or will eventually have team and see themselves as a team leader down the track. So we'll cover that briefly. Now, one thing that I want to touch on, because I know that we've got Jax who's launching tonight, which is super exciting. And I know I've got a few leaders on here who have launches happening this week. So I really want to touch on launching just to start off with. I feel like the event is one thing that we all surpass. We kind of think, okay, we've seen a couple of events, we don't need to see much more, or we stop plugging into them, or we stop plugging team into them. And now this is eventually going to branch onto Mel's question of keeping team inspired. If you have a teamie, or if you are a teamie, you need to be on the event every week. Now that's not to be a pain in the ass. It's literally because that is your ignition site. That's where you're going to hear new stories. That's where you're going to be re-inspired. That's why you're going to keep going. Okay, because sometimes people can knock with you. People can say, oh, the product's shit, it doesn't work, I want to cancel, or I'm not seeing the results I expected, or it's one of those things, or all sorts of things that people are going to throw at you in order to bring you down. It's human nature. Unfortunately, the bottom level of our vibration is designed to lower you. Okay, and there's going to be people that you know that are still in that vibration. So if you're getting knocked back with all that kind of stuff, you need to plug into the event every week to remind yourself why you're here, why you continue to follow your whole food program products, why you continue to prioritize health, why you continue to search for more, why you continue to wanting to look outside of the box of a traditional job. And you're going to hear that every week if you're hearing from people who are passionate and who are doing it. Okay, so I think sometimes we can overlook the fact that an event is one of those things. We just jump on if we're launching, or if we have launches, or if we feel brave enough to help share. All right, I want you guys to try and change that mentality as it's a non-negotiable. Every week I'm getting on the event. Now, if we have a look, we have a 7 p.m. Monday New Zealand event. So New Zealand time, 7 p.m. on a Monday, which is open to everybody. It's run by the gorgeous Tanya, sometimes Ash, sometimes me. Okay, but we have a New Zealand thread chat, which always talks about the event. So if you are inviting people to that event, if you have New Zealand team, if you are New Zealand team, reach out to one of us to make sure you're inside that thread so we can keep you up to date on the event happenings. Then on Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Queensland time, straight after the Tuesday Diamonds call, we have our Australian event. Okay, so 7 p.m. Monday, New Zealand, Tuesday, 7 p.m. Queensland. So write them down. Either one of those, you guys should be on. You should be encouraging to plug your team on. Now, the cool part about that is that we should encourage this duplicating strong by telling them how important the event is from the start. And that, of course, is our first initial launch event. So if you have brand new team coming in, set that culture strong from the start. Our event's on tonight. I can't wait to see you. Okay, all that kind of stuff, just to make sure that they understand that this is something that you do that's a high paying activity. Because if we do look at the top 5, we've got connecting, then we've got sharing, then we have events. Is our third highest paying activity. So if you could rate yourself on your, I guess, turn up of the events over the last 6 months or however long you've been in the business, what would you give yourself? You know, I'd really want to hope that it's closer to the end of the 10 scale. And I know personally, my business runs the highest when I show up to other events. Okay, so obviously I have to show up to this one because it's ours, we run it. But I know myself, by turning up and watching new events, new stories at our Gold Coast Live event each week, blows my mind. I'm so on fire for that whole weekend and the early next week because I've seen some really cool stuff. I've seen some stories firsthand and everything like that. So just to touch base and remind you guys, don't lose the power of events, because I can promise you that your business will grow strongest when you prioritize it. Yeah, because if you're there, you can invite people along as well. Now, of course, our launch event is their first initial, we're ripping the Band-Aid off, we're getting out of the closet, and we're telling the world what we're doing. Okay, we're collaborating with the Soul Project and jumping on board the Juice Plus products, and we work our way through that. Okay, now that's the launch event. It's very important because it gives the launcher the courage to invite. It's their party, you know, it makes it easier for a brand new person to be able to invite because they're sharing, they need support, and also the family and friends that are coming to watch that, it's quite different. It's outside of what they're used to, so they find it powerful. It's impactful. Who here remembers watching their first event still, and maybe some of the stories that they heard? Yeah, me too, absolutely. So don't discredit that when you've got new team, and especially when you're trying to keep them inspired. Yeah, get them back on the events, get them back seeing all those beautiful stories and why we do what we do. Now, the other thing that we need to remember is that the launch is always, events are a two-part thing. So we need to let everybody know the power of a launch. Now, you can launch, relaunch, launch 50,000 times. I don't care. A launch is not a one-off thing. You can do it as many times as you feel necessary within your business and within your warm market. Personally, I had 3. Okay, because my first one, I had it at home, and the people that I really wanted there didn't come. I got some really good bites and I got some really good team members, but it wasn't until I did my hard launch where I actually went really big and I launched the Soul Project and my idea and my brand that I actually got more people to come and show attention and that kind of stuff. So don't close yourself off to the potential of relaunching or launching again. But then, of course, just using it every single week to bring people along. Yeah. If you're talking to somebody, the first step when they show interest is getting them on an event. That's how high paying it is. Now, if there's somebody who is busy, someone who's flaky, someone that you know isn't interested in turning up to a live event, send them a recorded version. Doesn't always have to be live, but make sure that you still say, hey, come on tonight, we're all jumping on. If they don't, then you can send them a recorded one. But don't forget to invite to the events because that's really powerful as well. Okay, so that was the first thing that I really wanted to talk about is keeping our events live, because I'm not sure if you guys watched my live that I did last week, but I actually have a pretty strong goal that as of February, we have at least 50 people on every event, whether that be the New Zealand event or the Australian event, because that's not only going to work great for us as a team, okay, because we're plugging in, we're working, we're seeing the high-paying activity ourselves, but it's also going to look very impressive to every single person that we bring as a prospect. Now, if they come onto an event and see at least 50 people, it takes it up that level of organisation, okay? Sometimes if they jump on and they see 10 or 12 people, it's obviously still impactful, but it's not as big league as what I'd like it to be, okay? So that's kind of our goal. If you're keen on helping me make that happen for a couple of months' time, let's work at it, start inviting, start turning up, and start getting really good at sharing your story, because there's gonna come a time when that's happening, okay? Cool, so the event's done and dusted. Now, Mel's question, if you guys have got more, getting them on is a challenge. They do watch the recordings. I agree, Shirlene, I agree. I was one of those people. I never watched the recordings sent through to me. It had to get to the stage where Lauren said, I've got a live event close to me. I'm coming to pick you up. And she actually came and got me. And I thought, geez, why didn't I watch this link that'd been sitting in my inbox for like 6 months? So bear in mind, humans are humans. They're not always going to jump at it straight away. That's why the 4th high-paying activity is following up, right? Well, the fourth one after events is follow up. So don't forget to do that as well, and perhaps offer a recorded one if they didn't jump on the live. Now, throw up any more, guys, because I'm going to move on to Mel's and then I want something else to talk about next. So keeping team inspired. This is honestly one of the hardest things that I think comes up, because as people, especially people who care, we take the success of someone else on board. Okay, so if we bring someone into the business, we think, oh my God, I've got to make this work for them. They really want this. They really deserve this. And we do as much as we can to make them successful, or we try super hard. They might only give it a 50%. Okay, now coming from a position of being in this business for a long time, a few years, you cannot want this business for people. All right, they have to want it for themselves. There's a few things that you can do though to be a strong, I don't even want to say leader, because that's not the term that you need to be. You need to be a role model. Yeah, and if you're a really good role model, then duplication is easy. If you're not doing the top 5 high-paying activities yourself, you are not a role model, and it's very hard to have duplication. Okay, because that comes back to the saying, watch the feet, not the lips. If you're talking to your team all the time about getting on trainings, about getting on events, about doing consistent posting, but you know that you're not doing it, okay, that is where getting team inspired comes back to you, because you have to be leading from the front first in order to make sure that they can lead as well. So being a really good role model, the other way around, is really important, okay? It's something that something that I struggle with every single level, because in this business, it's so much more fun to play with you guys. It's so much more fun. So much more fun to talk to my team and to check how they're going and to jump into the businesses who want this and who are working hard. But the thing is that that's not making me a role model, okay? That's making me a manager. And that's when it comes into management mode. So really get honest with yourself about how much you are doing the do. Are you doing your own DMO every day, or are you just making sure everyone's doing theirs? And the funny thing is that there needs to be a balance. If you have team and you're doing your DMO, the coolest thing that you can do is say, oh my God, I just connected with 5 people, give me a high five. Because what do you think is going to do them? Oh shit, I haven't connected with anybody today. You know, or like if you've just said to them, hey, I just connected with 5 people. I thought, we just got talking about the weekend. I can flick you through some templates if you want, because I've got some really cool conversations running. Now that's such an effective way to let somebody know what a top high paying activity is, rather than going, hey, who have you connected with today? Have you done your high paying activities? Can you see the difference between manager and role model? Like, I've done this, I'm showing you it works, do you want to try? Or here's what you need to do. Okay, here's what you need to do will not inspire team, because they already get enough of that from everywhere else in life. Oh dear, turn around, let me have a look. Oh, I can see, it's all right. Go have a drink of water, darling. Good girl. Sorry, disaster's happening. Yeah, but it's really important to get honest with yourself, because if you versed yourself, say, I'm going to give myself a score out of 10 for being a role model, what would I give? And then I'm going to give myself a score out of 10 for being a manager, what am I going to give? And you will see which category you fall into. Now, I'll let you know that there has to be some certain degree of manager. You have to, okay? Because there's a really good chance, I had this conversation with my coaching calls last week. How do I put this in a way that doesn't sound mean, okay? You guys get this shit, okay? Because you're on a training. Even if you're watching this as a recording, you've taken the time out to make your business a priority. Now that puts you in a small margin. All right, so if you're in that small margin of working on your business, being consistent and having a DMO, it puts you in a high category for what our business holds. Okay, you guys are in a high category. There's only 20% of people who sign up who get in that high category. You guys are already there because you've taken time out of your day to get on this training. So high five for that. But you also need to know that with that comes a little bit of responsibility, because there's 80% of the people in your team who you're going to end up recruiting and bringing on board who don't see the picture like you do. All right, they're not going to want to jump on the trainings. They're not going to want to take time out of their Netflix channel to come and learn more. They're not going to want to take time or take that step out of their comfort zone to launch their business or do something like that. That's okay, but that's where I like to say that being a manager and a coach comes in, because that's the time when you need to politely come in and just be like, this is what I found works for me. I would really love to help make it happen for you. Okay, now the cool part about that is if they are a 20%er, they're going to rise to the challenge and they'll do it. Okay, but the thing is along this business, you're going to find people will sit in the 80% for a very long time, and it just might be the right time that you have that conversation and call them out on their behavior that they decide to rise. So the biggest mistake is that so many people write off 80% and think, you know what, I'm just going to work with my workers. There's so many people inside here who are dying to have somebody in their corner and say, you can do it. You've got this, so that they can have the confidence to jump into the 20%. Now that was me. I stayed in the 80% for 18 months, saying no to this, saying no to the growth, saying no to the risk. And I'm really grateful that Lauren took the chance and to stay consistent enough with me for that long to give me that confidence boost to go into the 20% category and start turning up. Okay, so that's where the balance is. Be a role model, but also have like massive peripheral vision going on for who else can I help? Who else is ready to step up? What else can I say to these people to help encourage them to come to the party for themselves? Because like I said, the manager of you need to, this should happen, tagging them in shit, I swear, don't tag them in shit. It looks easy and it is simple, but it annoys people. Who else has been annoyed by somebody tagging them in a post or in something? Yeah, it's annoying. Yeah, but the unfortunate thing is that if we see a training pop up, we just want to tag our new team because cool, it's done. I've told you what to do for the day. I'm a good leader. That's our mentality. I've done it. I've ticked my box. Unfortunately, if these guys are in the 80%, the 20% is going to go, sweet, Kat's tagged me in something. Let me go watch it. The 80% are going to be, fuck off. I'm having a busy day. I've got shit on. Like, stop tagging me and stuff. So it's not going to work for them. But if I was to message them and go, oh my God, I just watched this training, it was mind blowing. Do you think maybe it might be like, oh, maybe I will. It will work so much more effective than just tagging them. So if you have a team, because you know how we say pretty much 1 in 5 are going to be an easy 20. They're just going to start. And, you know, you've only just got to be like, oh, I think you should do this. And they'll be like, yeah, you're right. I'm on it. Okay, that's a 20%er. You'll feel them because they've probably had enough damage, enough pain, enough turmoil that this has got to happen. The rest of the 4, they're 80%ers, right? Okay, so you will know in your team. If you've only got 4 and they're all sit in that 80% category, they're all maybe like, you've got to take extra precaution. Okay, you've got to work extra. You've got to do that little bit extra to become a leader. Now, don't think of this as, what should I say, a pain, because this is your business. This is my job. When people say, what do you do? I don't get customers. That's not my job. Okay, my job is helping 80% become 20% and helping 20% become 5%. Yeah, does that make sense? So you guys who are at the start of your journey, still focus on finding team and finding customers. Team is what's going to get you to this level when you can just direct a beautiful movement of people who are going about their life. Okay, you guys aren't at the level right now where you can be like, I don't want to care about customers. Okay, you have to love the product, you have to take the product, you have to be a product of the product, share the testimonials, be consistent as hell, and make sure that you bring in as much income in that commission avenue as possible, but then also find some really cool team. And when I talk about team, that's when this comes in. being aware that not everybody who you're going to introduce is going to run at it like you did. Because I think that's the most frustrating thing for a lot of people. They're a 20%er, they get it, and they're really hungry to make this work. And their first 2 recruits are in the 80% category. And they instantly think, oh my God, I can't do this. Why don't people get it like I get it? All right. So if that happens to you, if you're in the category where maybe you feel like that is happening, it's part of the game, guys. It's nothing that I can fix for you. We are just really grateful that our pay plan supports us in looking after that 80%. Okay, because that's why our VFs and our DVFs count towards our qualifying. Yeah, because if we still look after them and we still keep that volume coming in, that's where our residual income comes in. So we're very lucky that our pay plan is there to help us do this. But if you're at the start of your business, just know that not everyone's going to want it as much as you. That goes with the product and the team. Not everybody's going to understand that they need to prioritize their health. That fruit, veggies, and berries are magic, because they are. Okay? A lot of people think that buying them at the supermarket is going to give them the same effects as if they were buying them from an organic market. Yeah? But we know that that's not the difference, and that's where we can educate people. Cool? So does that make a little bit of sense? Mel, does that help you? Yeah? Cool, cool, cool. But other than that, like, just let you guys know that you don't have to push people. If they're happy, and even if they're not happy, let's take that off the table, because how many people do you know in life are stuck in a miserable pattern but continue to do the same shit every day? Yeah, I think that's the majority of us, right? It's not up to us to get them out of that funk. In fact, we can't. Change in ourselves is such a long process. You know, who's had to go through something where they've had to grow and had to change a pattern or a behavior? It's hard and it's long. It's hard enough to do for yourself, let alone making somebody else try and do it. Yeah, they have to get to the stage where they want this business enough. But I can tell you that there's certain things that you can do to help those 80%ers decide to be a 20%er. Yeah. And please know that if you feel like, okay, shit, maybe I'm in the 80% category right now, there's nothing wrong with that at all. Like I said, that was me for a very long time. It wasn't until I got so tired of being broke that something really needed to change. And I decided to come into the 20% category and just get out of my way. I don't care how crazy I look, who I yell this to, what kind of butterflies in my stomach I need to go through. I'm going to make this happen because my girls deserve it. Yeah. And that could be something that's going on in your life right now, that you're stuck in that, like, life's really cushy, you know, it's miserable, but maybe I'm okay. Maybe I'm getting my needs met. But you're so ready to jump into that next level life. Because you guys, how many on here that have been on from start? Mark's been on with me for a long time. Tans has 2. Stace, a little while. Stace has seen me for a long time because she's known me for about 10 years. But for those of you guys who have watched what I have done and become and been able to create, I had to go through so much shit to get there. Okay, so much shit, so much learning, so much uncomfortable stuff. So please, when you look at people who have been successful in this business, don't ever put them up on a pedestal, ever. Okay, because whatever they've done is just a normal person going through shit. And you guys are probably going through shit at the moment, so just keep pushing. And then you're going to be one of those normal people going through shit who other people look at and think, oh, I wish I could do that. Okay? Because that's all it is. That's all NMD is. We need to come up with another acronym for it, because it's not something fancy. It's literally just somebody who didn't give up, who pushed through, who kept working, who kept wanting it. On the days when it plateaued, they kept pushing. They kept finding a way to change tactic, to get people to talk to them, all sorts of things. Okay? Because I can tell you, nobody created a successful business easily. They all had to get out of their comfort zones. They had to change tactics. They had to change methods. They had to lose people. Okay, they had to build really strong legs and have them disappear. They had to have friends say, I don't like what you're doing. All that kind of stuff. It's almost like a rite of passage. But, you know, now I look back and I think, suckers, say that again. Like, you know, but anyway, that's separate to the story. So is there anything else Oh, I love that, Kat. So Kat's just put, there's a thing on Channel 7 News about fruit and veg being held for 12 months before being sold in supermarkets. That's so good. That's okay, Miriam, you're probably gone now, but that's totally okay. Yeah, so that's so gross, you know, and that's what we talk about in our events. That people say, oh, I don't want to take anything out of a canister, or I don't want to take a multivitamin, all this kind of stuff. Do they realize what they're eating? Probably not. And it's just a little bit of education around a post or putting something up, and it really does start to change the way that they think, which is really cool. That's cool. That's pretty much like the analogy of taking these sleeping people. Like, you know, if you look at the analogy of awakening, they're sleeping right now, and we get to help them awaken to what it is that they're really doing and their desires in life. So pretty cool stuff. Hey, Stace. Did you mean to put that in here, or was that a template? I'm just having a look back through. Yes, please, Dee Dee, if you could put in anything. We're just talking, getting questions answered. So far, we've talked a little bit about the importance of keeping an event strong and launching strong at the start of a new Teamies business. And the sooner we can launch them, the better. But the sooner we can launch them strong. I've seen so many teams come into the business and they've had a half-ass, even like a quarter-ass launch, which is basically like, I'm going to invite 2 people and that's it. And then I'm going to turn up and half tell my story. All right, it's awkward, it's uncomfortable, it's one of those things, I get it, but if you're gonna do it properly. Invite 30 to 40 people, okay? Go crazy, spend 2 hours connecting to people, getting outside of your comfort zone, telling them, oh my God, I'm doing this thing tonight and I'm shitting my pants over it. I have to get outside of my comfort zone and tell people what I'm doing. You know, I don't really understand what it is. I haven't heard from anybody about it. I'm feeling really awkward. Can you jump on? So at least there's a familiar face there. Those kind of things, okay? Just being totally honest, totally raw, saying it's totally outside of my comfort zone. I really don't expect you, you know, to be on there and buy it from me. I really don't, you know, but I would just love to have your face on there. Giving them an out, letting them know that it's okay. I just want people on there, because numbers, if you guys have a thing, so I'm just going to put us on gallery view for the recording. Okay, so if you're doing anything naughty, turn off your video. So who here jumped at this chance the first time they heard about it? You weird people. You're weirdos. I know, but did you see that? That was pretty much only about 30% of our page here, okay? So there was only about 30% of people who jumped at it the first opportunity that they heard about it. Okay, most of us took a little bit longer than that. I'm really proud of you guys. You're awesome. You obviously know a good opportunity when it comes to you, but most of us take a little bit longer than that. So that's why having a launch, having 2 launches, having 3 launches, talking to as many people as possible every day, following them up, doing all that kind of stuff in the most authentic and organic way is really important. Because if they say no, or they ignore you, or they say, hey, look, I'm really busy tonight, they could just be in that other 70% category, who it's going to take a little bit of time. Hands up if it took you, okay, I'm going back to gallery. Hands up if it took you longer than 6 months to say yes to this. Yeah. Yeah, Kat, you too. I know. It's so normal. It is so normal, okay? So don't put those people who are like, oh, they're not interested, or I've invited them to my launch and they said no, or, you know, they've told me they're not into these things. Don't put those people in the definite no box, okay? Like I said, Lauren worked at me for 18 months. Here's a really cool story, and she's going to watch it later. I've been getting my eyebrows done by the most amazing lady for 18 months. Yeah, I love her. Since the first time I met her, I thought, far out, girl, you would be amazing at network marketing. Amazing. Because she's just so beautiful. She's so open. She's so straight down the line. She's got that open energy that you know you could just trust her. And then we got talking, and she said, oh, yeah, I've taken Juice Plus before. I've still got it sitting in my cupboard. I never really got into it. You know, so I knew that she was open to trying the products, but I worked at it. I didn't say, hey, come along to the event tonight. I worked at it for 18 months because I wanted to make sure that it was her decision to say, yes, I want to do this. Okay, so 18 months, and she just said to me this morning, why have you never said to me to start? I want to start. And I was like, you can start with me, babe. I've wanted you to start from start. I just wanted it to be your decision. Because I thought there was something wrong with me. I couldn't work out why you weren't saying to me, come and join, come and join. And I think that that is the biggest thing. Okay, people expect it. But if you can just be like good posture, remember, that's good posture. If you can just be like, well, I've got it. You come to me when you're ready. Here it is. This is what I'm doing. And by that, I don't mean take that as an excuse to, okay, cool, well, I don't have to say anything to anyone. All right? You have to share your story. You have to do the work. You have to do the 5 high-paying activities. But you also need to be cool, calm, and collected, because some people take a very long time to get to that stage in life where they're like, cool, that makes sense to me. I'm in. Yeah? So that's another thing too. If you're in this and you've only been in the business less than a year, don't you dare give up. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. I don't care if you've only got 1 customer. If you've been in the business for a year, you're a baby. And the thing is like, so Fraser talked about this. You guys that were at Game Plan will understand. Okay. It takes somebody 6 weeks in this industry to quit. Basically, that 6-week mark, and if you've got teamies, you probably understand what I'm talking about. That 6-week mark is when most people go missing. And they think, fuck, I'm not a millionaire yet. How difficult. This is really hard. I actually have a responsibility. I actually have to turn up and do shit. How difficult. Okay? And they start to think, I can't do this. I'm not made for it. The funny thing is, in the industry, statistics show us that 8 weeks is the time when it clicks, is the time when they finally get an okay paycheck, or they finally get some good feedback, or they finally get a teamie who gets it. So you can see the connection here, right? People quit at 6 weeks. It takes 8 weeks to fall in love, to think, yeah, I've got this. I can do this. I can see a little bit of payback. So it's really important when we talk about keeping team inspired that you remember for that first 8 weeks is the time when you need to hold their hand. Yeah, get really good at being that role model who's loving on them rather than the manager who's telling them what to do. So that's cool. If you guys are in your 6, if you're in like the danger zone yet, I don't want to see any of you leave until at least 12 months. Give it a really good 12 months. And then I'm sure that you'll be sold and in love. For those of you who are at Game Plan or watch the playback as well, you'll see that Linda, so our beautiful Linda who earns well and truly 7 figures, not just 6, but 7 figures a year, she stayed an SC2 club for 3 years. 3 years. Can you imagine the amount of times that she probably thought, oh, this is so, 2 club. If I let you guys know, that's probably about $1,000 a month if she's working hard. It could drop all the way down to about 300 if none of them are doing anything. So she stayed in the game for that long, earning that little in order 10 years down the track to have a 7-figure income. She got it. She understood that this wasn't about quick fix. This was about building strong and longevity. That being said, I wouldn't encourage any of you to rock 2 club for 3 years because that would be frustrating as hell. Go all the way to 24 and then hang out because that's a nice income, okay? So hang on, we've got 7 new messages. Let me go down. That was for Joe. I thought so. I was like, that seems like that's meant for someone else. Super excited to launch Alexi tonight. Me too. We got Alexi and Jax launching tonight. Guilty as charged. You're so cute. I took a year. Yeah, actually, I took longer. I still win. Jax pretty much wins, though. She took a little bit longer. Hell no, yeah. Stace took a long time, too. She was my customer for a long time. I love that. So Stacey Cosson, these two always confuse me. Stacey Cox and Stacey Cosson. Stacey Cox Stace was a customer of mine for over a year. And I had to talk her down from the ledge that it wasn't one of those things. And then Stacey Cosson, we got talking on Soul Project page and she went cold. She was one of those people that ghosted me. She ghosted me for 5 months. She didn't even reply to me. Am I making you feel bad, Stace? I can't see you, but hopefully just a little bit. She didn't even reply to me. She left me on red. But when I finally followed her up, which was probably slack on my behalf, she'd been following me and watching me because I'd sent her a friend request. That was a tick on my half. So get people linked to your page as quickly as possible. Okay. Because when I followed her up, she was at a stage where she was like, I've been wanting to say yes to this for ages, you know, but she hadn't got around to actually feeling the confidence in order to do it. Okay. So it's an important thing to remember. Yeah. I think I get so sick of people saying, oh, I don't want to be annoying. I don't want to follow up because I don't want to be annoying. You're not being annoying, guys. What we have is the bomb. It is the absolute bomb. The freedom that you can create, the time with your kids, the contribution to make other people feel better. What we have is amazing. So if you're following up, you're actually being amazing rather than being annoying, because that person was probably in the too hard basket or not now basket, and you've still shown them love around, come on, this is good. I want to work with you. Yeah. I know the amount of times people have been ready to quit, Shirlene, is ridiculous. If you were to look at all of us, I think we've all got times that we're ready to quit. It happens. But do you know one thing that, and I will share this with you because I really do think on a law of attraction angle for me, I felt in my mind like, oh my God, this is so hard. It's not as easy as I thought. But in my heart, in my, I guess, you know, I want to say soul, I knew that I was rock solid in committing to making this happen, that nothing was going to mess with me. Even if it took me 5 years to become an NMD, NMD was what I was going to become. And I knew that because even though up here I was thinking, oh, this isn't as easy as I thought. Why are people dumb? Why are people not saying yes to this? You know, why are people thinking that this is something it's not? All those kind of things went in my head, and I kept thinking, yeah, maybe I can't do this. I never believed that I was going to give up. Does that make sense? I know it seems hypocritical, but even though I was thinking it, I never truly believed it. So just have a think of where your belief lies, because your belief often comes from the mix of the conscious and the subconscious. And that is where your attraction comes from. So if you're not rock solid in that area yet, there's a very good chance that you're going to be attracting back instances and experiences that are going to fuck with that. Okay, that are going to make you feel like you want to quit. And also, it's very hard to get to an NMD position if you don't believe it's going to happen. Okay. I love that. I love that tons. And see, that's what's going to make you an NMD. And same Dee Dee, I get it. I really get it, because you, I guess, you know, like it's tricky over there. It's tricky in the US. It's different to us. It's different to your uplines. But the challenges and the success that's going to come after this will be so much sweeter for you. So don't you dare give up. I'm saying that to both Shirlene and Dee. You've got ample time. Go and watch the recording of the game plan. If you haven't, it's only like $27 or something. Go and watch it. It's so good. It's so good. And there's a whole thing in there right at the end that Ant does, and it shows you Linda's figures. And it shows that she fluctuated between that, say 400 to 1,000 for 3 years. Yeah, 3 years. To think of her growth then from there. When I started the business, Linda had just gone 39 club. Can you imagine that? Linda's almost 500 club now. So 3 years ago when I started the business, she was a 39 club. 2 months later, when we went to the conference, she hit 100 club. And from there, that Melbourne conference that I went to, she went from 100 club to 500 club in 3 years. Now, for you guys, to show you some figures, 100 club is about $20,000 coming into your bank every month. So if you're 100 club, or you see someone 100 club, that's pretty much what they've created, an income of $20,000 a month. Times that by 5, and that's 500 club. All right, so if you guys think of that, that's a 6-figure income coming in her bank monthly because she didn't quit. It wasn't ideal. Okay, I was very grateful at the start of my business. I started strong. I started very strong. Linda didn't. Okay, so don't think just because you haven't had this amazing all guns blazing start that you're meant to, you know, fade away into the shadows in this business. But don't think too that you can't have a start like me. Within 6 months, I quit my job because I wanted it badly enough and I wanted to go to work. If you talk to Linda, she didn't understand what she had. She stayed in that, oh, I'll show up when I want. I'll work when I want. Okay? Whereas I was just like, I'm just doing this shit. I need it. So you can decide. If life is so chaotic right now and you just think you want to be, I'll just cruise through, just don't give up. That's the one thing. Because can you imagine if Linda had given up at that 3-year mark, what would have come after? And that's the same as for you guys who might be thinking right now. Imagine if in 5 years' time, you could even be 100 club. Yeah, that's $20,000 a month coming in. That's insane. That's more than some people earn all year. So it's really cool. Yeah. It was extended, was it, Shirley? Awesome. Brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant. I was hoping that. Cool. So yeah, if you haven't watched it, go and watch it. I want 100 club. Me too, girlfriend. Me too. Me too. But you know what's cool is that I know you guys will get there. This team that we have, this team is freaking unbelievable. So, you know, if you're watching this, just know that I think you're amazing. And I'm really biased. I look at other people's teams and their leaders and I think, I have the coolest team ever. Like I get on events, on trainings, and I watch Joe's and I watch Denise's, and I just think we got the coolest people with the most driven and authentic spirit. And I love that. I think Linda's story keeps me from actually quitting. I watched, oh, that's amazing. Me too. And Linda's so gracious, like she's just so beautiful. You just know that, you know, it was obviously meant to be. And you guys are all in the same boat. I'm happy to get to 1 or 2 club. Good girl. Awesome. I love that. That's a good start. And you know what's funny? I was once a 1 or a 2 club. So was Adam. So was Linda. So, you know, it's a good start to tick off. Oh, 2019 goal is to change 200 lives. I love that, Ash. Is that through customer or team or both? I'd love to hear that. Yeah. Go, woman. So you're going to have a team of 200 next year. Yes. I love that. Now, this is really cool, guys. Before I finish off, because I've got to race and be somewhere by 12, but set yourself a goal. Okay? It's basically like you're in a ship right now. If you don't set yourself some coordinates of where you want to land and what you want to grow and what you want to be, you're just going to get beaten and battered around by the waves and turn up wherever the hell, you know, the waves decide rather than where you decide. So no, okay, well, by the end of this year, I want 2 working team and I want 10 personal customers. Or I want 15 working team and I want a customer base within our team of 200. I don't know, set yourself some wicked goals. And don't always let them be around positions. Because if anybody who's been on here for a little while, I'll let you know a little secret. We have this thing called promotional blues. And I was talking to Ashley about this because what we do is we set a target for ourselves. So let's say we set SC and we set it, we work hard, we work really hard, and then we get it and nothing changes. And then we think, oh, now I've got to start again. Now I've got to go SSC. And you feel like a little bit like, I've got the blues. Like, where do I go? What do I turn up to? Now I've got to redirect myself. So don't set yourself a target that can be easily dismissed. And promotions, as awesome as they are, because they let you know you're moving forward and they give you a bonus, it's also just a title. Set yourself a goal. Like, I want 5 team. I want 5 team this month. Yeah, because that's a goal that when you get, it's not going to leave you feeling empty because you've got 5 team now to play with, to work with, to inspire. And then you've also got to be that role model. So you've got to get back to work. Can you see the difference? Obviously, if you were to set the goal of SSC, you know you need team, but you're no longer focusing on the team, you're focusing on the promotion. And the promotion is really just a title. So if you take that away and you focus on the team, your heart, your condition, your inspiration, your motivation is going to be way, way more powerful and way more fulfilling than what just a title is. Does that help? Cool. And just to give you an overview, I know I'm sorry for over complicating it for so many of you who are brand new, but just to give you a bit of a timeline, okay, a really big future goal to look at, because I see every single one of you on here as a future NMD, regardless of how long it takes you, okay? NMD looks like 5 SC legs frontline. So you need 5 strong leaders frontline underneath you to become an NMD. So when you're focusing on your goals, focus big, because you're going to need them to play up a level, okay, in order to hit that end goal. So if you're just thinking at the moment, I just want one team. We look back at the analogy that I used, that 1's going to be a rock star and 4 are going to be 80%ers. If you just want one team a month, what if you start here? So let's just say January, you get an 80%er. February, you get an 80%er. March, April. It's not until May that you get somebody that works. Do you think you're going to stick it out and keep the work ethic consistent all the way until you find a rock star? Hell no. You're going to be so deflated and angry and blaming everybody and being like, this isn't for me. So set yourself a goal. Because what you set, you can achieve. What you believe, you can achieve. Set yourself a goal of minimum 3 team every month. That means that every second month, you're bound to find yourself a diamond. Okay, you're bound to find yourself someone who wants it as hard as you. And that is fun. Like I said, the other guys, they come with their challenge and you need them. You need to learn how to inspire them and help them. But having somebody just stand next to you and want it and work hard, they're the fun ones, okay? They create some really cool movement with you as well. Awesome. Well done. Well done, guys. So do we have any last minute questions around that before I shoot off? Remember, this call is every Monday during the day and Tuesday at night. I'm not going to get too tricky with time difference because it's going to get crazy. But if I tell you Monday, 11 a.m. Queensland time, and Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Queensland time. And this call is basically just like we did today. Any questions that you've got, any area that you want, and we always cover for about 45 minutes things that are going to help you grow your business, yeah? But if you want to know what to move, have a DMO, a daily method of operation, around our top 5 high-paying activities, which is connecting, sharing, turning up to events, sharing on events, and inviting to events, following up, and customer care. Now, if you're looking for a DMO version, go into the files section of Team Love and you'll find a copy of one that I do. Okay, and if you want, you can just pull that off and tick it off every day. Cool? Awesome. All right, guys, love you all. Thank you so much for jumping on. It was lovely to see you. Don't forget, training is on tonight. So if you're a New Zealander, we have our event tonight and then training. If you're an Australianer, we have the training on at 7 p.m. and 7 p.m. Queensland time. Oh no, it's changed now because of the event, hasn't it? What time is it now, Ash? Do you remember? Is it 7:30 is the event and 8 p.m. is training? Queensland?
7 is the event, the Freedom event, I'm pretty sure, and then 7:30 start strong, then 8 build strong.
Cool. Okay, so anytime from 7 till 8 p.m. tonight, Queensland time, is Australian events and training. And then anytime from, 8 p.m. New Zealand time tonight is events and training. Kind of works out perfect. Cool. All right, guys, thank you so much for your time. If you've got any questions, shoot them on through to me or inside the Team Love page, and I'll pop this recording up inside there today too, in case you need to watch it back and take any more notes. Cool. All right, guys, wonderful to see you all. I'll catch up with you later tonight.